Welcome back to Tutorial Tidbits and welcome to my channel. I'm Elizabeth St. Hilaire and this week I have another fun tutorial for you. This week I'm going to show you how to make holiday cards, postcards, and gift tags in a sea of blue. Teal and blue and sparkly snowflake ribbon. It's going to be tons of fun. And the best part about it is that I'm using my For the Birds stencils, masks, a collection of 4 designs, and they're so much fun and they're whimsical and they're not just for holidays. I think you could use these cards all year long. So if you've got a few minutes, let's go check it out. And don't let me forget to tell you that stencils with joggles are still on sale through December 2nd, 2022. So you could grab these birds and you could follow along in my project. Let's go check it out. Welcome back to the studio. So today I have been messing around with a plethora of things in the hopes of creating some tags for gifts for the holidays and some postcards for gifts for the holidays. So this year I decided to work in shades of blue and teal so as not to be traditional red and green. And I decided to get some holiday ribbon that just incorporated metallic snowflakes so that I could be a little bit more neutral in my holiday message. So the ribbon I got on Amazon, and it is a wonderful sort of teal wire edge ribbon with some glittery snowflakes on it. I'm going to list all the products below the video because sometimes when I'm making these videos, I can't remember the products, like the names of the size of these cards and these tags. So I will list them in the information box below the video so that you have accurate information and not me guessing. So I'm also using some Tim Holtz mini ink pads, and these are archival ink distressed. This one is prize ribbon, and this one is hickory smoke. And I chose those colors because I am working on, well, first of all, I am using my For the Birds masks. They are 5x7 mask set of 4 that I designed for joggles.com. They're fun, funky birds. They have nothing to do with the holidays, but they sure do make some fun cards. And again, I'm trying to make something that I could also use throughout the year. If I don't use these all for holidays, I simply won't use the sparkly ribbon, and I can use them as postcards throughout the year because they're sort of that neutral blue pattern color. So these are my 4 For the Birds 5x7 masks that I'm using, and I'm using a some Smooth and Sturdy index cardstock. This first one is 4x6 from Joggles. This one is 5x7 from Joggles, and these are tags. I think that they're the number 5 tags, but I will make sure to list them in the information box below so you know exactly what size tags they are. And you may notice that this is a gray cardstock. I love this, especially for the blues, because it's sort of a nice neutral. It's not too bright white. It's gray. It's called Wet Cement, and it is my new favorite finish of cardstock from Joggles. They also have black, craft, white watercolor, but if you want a different color palette. But I am loving this Wet Cement color right now. So the paint colors that I've chosen are Golden Fluid Acrylics, Teal, and Cerulean Blue Deep. If you're using another brand, I'm sure you could get Teal, Aqua Turquoise. The Cerulean Blue Deep is a darker blue, but it is in the family of teal. It is a greenish blue. I experimented with ultramarine blue at first, and ultramarine I felt was too purple for the ribbon and also for the gray cardstock. I wanted something that stayed more in the teal family, so these 2 colors would be harmonious, so that's why I chose the Cerulean Blue Deep. I've got a 2-inch brayer, Speedball Deluxe 2-inch brayer, and a 5x7 gel plate. So and my cards lined up. So what I'm working on creating are 3 different things. First, I've got a couple examples here of gift tags the small tags for gift tags, and they're very abstract sections of the bird stamps, just sections, abstract pattern with the beautiful ribbon pushed through the punch hole, and the backs are blank for you to write on for your gift giving. And these would be great on top of presents, small to medium presents. Then I have been experimenting with creating the 4x6 card tags. And at first I was doing these horizontally, and they came out quite nice horizontally, but I thought, if I wanted to use them as a larger tag and not a postcard, then I would do them vertically, and I will punch with my hole punch in the top, and I'll apply the ribbon the same way, and I'll use these for a larger gift, as they would be they're also a more vertical format, and so I would use those that way. And then lastly, the 5x7 card I thought I would just use as a holiday postcard or a postcard for any other time of the year. So that is what I am working on, and I have been trying to perfect the process of making them sort of simultaneously, and using every aspect of the print to create all three formats. So depending on what interests you, that could be different. So anyway, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I've got a pad of paper here that I'm going to set down and use. And I am going to just add some teal paint to my gel plate. And I'm just going to use it to roll paint onto my brayer. So let's get a clean sheet here. And then what I want to do is I just want to add some teal to each one of these formats, but not to cover the whole thing, because I love that wet cement color. I want that to show through. So I am only applying with the brayer directly to the card after I use the gel plate to ink it up, just rolling it on there, almost like a cleanup sheet. And then coming back and grabbing some more paint and then just rolling. And also, you could roll, I'm rolling them vertical across the top edge. We could also roll some across the bottom, just part of the bottom like this. It doesn't need to be anything really thought out. It's just applying paint to about half of the tag so that you can get some of the wet cement color showing through, and you're getting a two-tone, and you're just going to just roll that brayer off in sort of random, here's one sort of on a diagonal, and that's the idea behind that. And that's going to be the idea behind all of them. So now I've done a few of the tags. Now I'm going to put out a little bit more paint and do some of the 4x6s in the same way. Let's move this way. So I'll do some across the top or the bottom vertically. I'll do one, oops, that's the larger one. I'll do one up the side. And you could even do it on a second edge. So you get the idea. And then I'm just going to keep rolling it until I sort of run out of paint. And I'll give myself a few of them. And here's a 5x7. And again, I'm leaving about 50% of the wet cement color. You can also, when it starts to get dry on here, you can lift it up with a partial. If you don't want to brayer it, and once the paint starts to get thin on here, you can just put part of the card. See, I'm not pressing the whole card down, putting part of the card and getting that, partial, and then I could come over here and finish it at the top. So you can do it with a combination of brayer and pressing it off the plate, whatever works for you. But the idea is just to get some of that turquoise on about half of the real estate of the card. I don't want to waste any paint. So, and the nice thing about the surface of these cards is that they really pick up a lot of paint off the gel plate because they're very smooth. And we like smooth papers. So, okay, so I'm going to grab this as my cleanup sheet. And I'm going to be using that to clean in between prints. Okay, so that's pretty clean. So now the first one, so now I'm going to take the Cerulean Blue Deep and I'm going to roll that out onto the gel plate with a larger brayer. And I'm not going to worry about there being some teal on there underneath. But a nice thin layer. And then I'm going to start with the first of the For the Birds stencils, masks. And I'm going to, this is Carl. He's the biggest. So I'm going to put him on a little bit of a diagonal. When you're cropping the birds off in an abstract way, it's most important that you get the head and the beak and you don't lose that. So running the body off the edge is no problem, but running the face off the edge looks a little odd. So we're going to take the first one in the vertical format of the 4x6, and I'm going to grab it. I'm going to put it on a diagonal, make sure I leave myself some room at the top to punch for the ribbon, and just sort of see what happens when I do it like this. So the most important thing is the detail in the beak and the eye. Not the most important thing, but it's those are parts with fine detail, and sometimes you don't press enough on them. So before I dismount, I'm going to make sure that I got that detail, and look at that. That is so beautiful. And I love that he's at the angle. His whole face is on there in 1 foot. I can punch my hole for the ribbon right up here. And when this dries for a minute, I'm going to show you how I antiqued the edges of these, because I think that gives it a really kind of a fun look. But right now it's pretty heavy with paint, so we're going to let that dry. And since we're here, we're going to take one of these tags, the smaller tags, and we're going to go for the abstract, grabbing it on the tail. So here we're going to get that abstract pattern. We could also grab the face on these. The face of the bird can be fun on these, and I did that with the ultramarine blue on these two before I decided to change my blue color, but I just grabbed the faces. But here I'm getting an abstract by grabbing the tail. And I just love that. I love the abstract of that. It's just fun shapes and colors and patterns. And again, we've got our hole punched that we would put our ribbon in. And here's how I'm creating those abstract small tags. Now, before this paint dries, I want to grab it and pull it out of the negative spaces so I can get a ghost print. And the ghost print, I would either transfer to the 5x7 card as a postcard, or to the 4x6 card as another gift tag. So I just have to decide how I want to do that. Since I did him already on the 4x6, let's go to the 5x7. So here with one print, I have done the 4x6 and the small abstract tag already. And my last print from this is going to be on the 5x7. So if you angle and layer them correctly, you can get all three. Let's see if this works out of one print. So we're going to lift that up. I'm going to take the 5x7. I'm going to angle it a little bit for fun. And I'm going to come in with that cleanup sheet so that I don't get my dirty hands on the back of that card. And we lost his face a little bit, and I otherwise love it, but we lost his beak a little bit. Just because not enough paint, I think, or waiting too long. So we'll give it another shot. But I really do like the way that he looks on there, but we don't want to lose his face. I'm really more going for this where we have a nice dark impression that includes his beak. Okay, so we'll try that one again, but let's use a different bird this time. Let's use this guy. And it is, a little bit of trial and error. You can always go in with a paint marker and draw in the beak. It's not lost. There's definitely several ways you could go back in there and fix him up. But I'm super happy with the 4x6 and the small tag with that one. So we'll put this guy down. He's a little smaller. I'm going to just put him on a slight angle. And then I'm going to grab one of the tags and let's get his little abstract face on there. So let's put him like this and we'll get a face so that we don't have just the abstract pattern from the feathers, but we'll have the face on this one. And again, you want to make sure you apply a lot of pressure around the eye and the beak. And it's best to peek before you pull it. And there we go. Oh, look at that. That's fun. Super fun with his little face. Similar to this one and that one that I did with the ultramarine. But again, I think this is a better color for the ribbon. You see the ribbon is really a teal focus, and that cerulean blue deep really is going to be nice with that ribbon. So there's his little face. So before I do the same thing again, let's just pull out the ghost print. Too much talking and the paint starts to dry, and that's the problem. The paint starts to dry and it starts to stick to the back of the stencil or the mask if you leave it down too long. So when you're working and not talking, you get better results. All right, let's see how this does on the 4x6. So I'm going to lift that up for the ghost print and I'm going to angle that at a fun angle. Oh, and I did this horizontal and I meant to do it vertical. Still fun as a horizontal, but I was going hoping to go for vertical on these 4x6 tags, but I guess there's nothing that says you can't do it horizontal. Okay, so let's come back and look at the ink pad for the Hickory Smoke. This is the mini archival ink pad. So I'm just going to take it and just rub it around the edges to sort of create a vignette. And the more pressure you apply, obviously, the darker it's going to get. And I like it really dark in the corners and sort of just run it along. And then I'll run it along the edges to darken the edges. And that just gives you just this cool sort of antique, grungy effect, which I really love on these. So that's that one, the 4x6. And here's the 5x7 that we did where we lost his little beak. You can shore that up with some drawing materials, but to show you the edge on this one, I'm just going to rub this Hickory Smoke mini ink pad and create that vintage vignette edge. These are the Tim Holtz Distress colors, and I like the archival because it's permanent and fade proof and it's not going to reactivate with water. So if you send this through the regular post, you don't have to worry about the ink pad smearing. So there's the effect of the grunge edge, and I went a little heavy there. This one is a little lighter. So I interrupt this broadcast to let you know that it totally slipped my mind that I wanted to use Stickles glitter gel on some of these cards and tags, because I have it here in a blue and a teal. And I had every intention of putting it on, but I totally forgot. So, these things happen. But I'm going to go back and add it, and I'm going to show you what I've got. I've got one called Aquarius. That's a super cool blue. I don't know what's in focus here, me or the glitter gel. And then the other one is called Galaxy. And that's looking super cool. Galaxy and Aquarius. So let's add these to the cards as a bling cherry on top finishing touch. So, okay, let's grab this guy because he's got some great abstract patterns in his body. And let's get a little more cerulean blue. Roll that out in a nice thin layer. And we'll put this guy, let's move this up a little. And we'll put this guy sort of on an angle on the 5x7. And I am going to do the 4x6 vertical on this one. So we'll grab his face. We'll give it a little bit of a twist. I like the idea of doing it on an angle since it's not going to be the full area. The idea of putting it on a little angle is kind of nice. Again, you want to peek and apply pressure to the beak and the eye, especially, as well as everywhere else, but don't lift it up until you peek. So look at that beautiful vertical 4x6 tag for a larger gift. Put the ribbon in the top, antique the edges or not. Appreciating that wet cement showing through with these two shades of blue. Okay, so we're going to grab a small tag and get it in the body here for a nice abstract pattern. Again, you could use a clean piece of paper so you don't get your fingerprints on the back. Do as I say, not as I do. And look at that. That is a beautiful abstract pattern with the body of this bird. I love it. I think we could get another one in the middle if we work quickly. So here I've made already one 4x6 and two small gift tags with this. Ooh, that's another fun one. Another nice one that's going to look really pretty with the ribbon. And then I'm going to come in with the cleanup sheet. Try to get the rest of that paint out. To get a good ghost print. And you don't want to wait too long because that paint will stick to the back of the mask and it's not going to transfer anyway. So here, all I've got left is 5x7s. So we're going to lift him up. Oh, I feel like that's dry, but we'll give it a try. If you apply more paint, then sometimes the mask slips. But if you apply too little paint and you let it sit there too long, it sticks to the back of the mask and then we don't get a good impression. Let's see what happens. But this smooth surface does pull a lot off of the plate. Aha, look at that. That looks great. Totally great. I didn't expect that. I thought it was going to be too light. So I'm going to grab my hickory smoke and I'm going to just give it a sort of vignette edge on this one. Again, you might have a different ink color. I like this because it goes nicely with the wet cement color. It's sort of a dark gray, and I think it's really complementary to the paper color. I tried black; it was a little too heavy. I tried navy blue. That looks kind of neat. So there we go. So that's the archival ink pad. And what you want to know about these is when you use them on stamps, you need to clean the color off because any leftover color of archival ink, which is oil-based, will reactivate when it's on your stamps the next time you stamp it. So if you don't clean the hickory smoke off and you go to stamp it with orange, you're going to get gray. So just wipe it with a baby wipe. So here we go. Here is my Christmas or my holiday or my year-round postcard. And that is going to be a lot of fun. So now I've got a series of 5x7 cards that can go through the mail as postcards or can be tucked into an envelope. And then I've got the 4x6 tags that I will punch with my hole punch on these, and I will add this beautiful fun holiday ribbon and how I did here. So to give you a quick tutorial on that, because it took me a while to figure that out, I cut a strip of it, and then I fold it in half to find the center, and then I squeeze that center up really small. And then whether you're using these as 4x6 tags, like I said, I'll punch with my hole punch and put them in the top like this for a vertical tag. Or you could even do it horizontal, but you're going to make it really nice and small. You're going to come from the front of the card. So let's use this one with a little fun face. So we're going to go through the front with it doubled up, and then you're going to open it up just a little bit. You want to get it through just enough. And then you get it open. Come on. Where is the end of this ribbon? Okay. Open like that. And then you're going to take these two and put them through the loop. And the second one through the loop. And then you have a nice sort of bow or whatever you want to call that on the front. And you have your strands to tie around the ribbon that goes around the box, or to just tape it down, or however you want to do this. But you've got this nice ribbon that looks really good with the wet cement and the two teal colors. So I've got, and tying them through gives you a little glitter on your work surface. That's always fun. So for the vertical larger tags that I'm making out of the 4x6s, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to use a single hole punch at the top and tie the ribbon in the same way. But since there's more real estate on the back of these, I added a postcard stamp. So I've got these Tim Holtz vintage postcard stamps. And basically you just take the ink pad, and for the back I'm using the prize ribbon, the navy blue, and I'm just patting it along the surface of the stamp. And then you can put it at the top, but you want to go down low enough for the ribbon punch hole, or you can put it at the bottom. So on this one, I'm going to put it at the bottom, centered on my vertical tag. So I get my cool vintage postcard, and I can write my note along here, my gift note, and leave myself room to punch the hole at the top and string the ribbon through. So it'll basically be like that once I punch it and string the ribbon through. And then on the back side, I've got postcard and my area for my note. I love that. So I would do that to all of these. Oh, we didn't do the edge of this one. So let's put the, don't you love that? It's just such a neat effect. And so simple with these mini ink pads especially. They just go right around the edges so nicely. And there's the vintage effect on that one. And then for the 5x7s, so that we did with these two, I'll just flip those over. This one's already got postcard on it. So flip that over and use that prize ribbon blue ink again. Or you could use the same gray that you antique the front with. And since this is going to go through the mail, I'm going to put this up on the left side so that I have room for the stamp on the right side. Or you could put it in the center because you would still have room for the stamp. But then I get this cool vintage postcard. And if you wanted to get even super more creative, you can also antique the back. So we can really give it that vintage postcard feel by antiquing the back where you'll do your message. So here I've antiqued the back of that one. How cool is that? And same thing with this one. Love this gray cardstock, especially for this antiquing effect. So there you have the back of that one. And how much fun is all of this? So I'm just having tons of fun with the postcard stamps and the grungy edges and the gray cardstock and my For the Birds masks for joggles. And since I'm making these in the blue tones, I'll use them all year long. I also wanted to share with you this one that I did the edges with black. Here's another one. I put this guy on a little bit of an angle. I've been out here playing for a while, creating all different kinds of ones. This one is a fun one where he's on an angle of the 4x6, so he could go through the post or become a tag. So the possibilities are endless, and also it's a good time for this lesson because my stencils are on sale with Joggles. 25% off if you want to get the For the Birds collection of masks to create these fancy holiday gift tags and postcards. So happy Friday, and thank you for being here, and thank you for letting me show you fun things with Carl and friends. And I hope that you are inspired, and I hope that you will make your own gift tags and holiday cards. And I hope that I've given you plenty of time and plenty of instruction. So happy holiday season. Oh, and don't forget, Carl and his friends are on sale, 25% off stencils with Joggles through December 2nd, 2022. So if you haven't got Carl and friends, you might want to stock up. Happy Friday, and thank you for being here.